Hey, Annabelle.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
Okay, I'm gonna check to make sure that the YouTube stuff is working.
Okay. And then also I need you to disable the screen sharing.
Disable it?
Yeah, because I can't share.
Okay. Oh, enable it. Okay.
Enable it, sorry. It said disabled and I was looking at that, sorry.
No worries. Give me just a second. Thanks for checking it. Okay, try it now.
Oh, wait, sorry. You know, I don't know how to use Apple. I just, oh, no, yeah, hold on a second before you let anybody in. I don't know how. Okay, I think I did it.
You did.
Okay, cool. All right.
And I'm already recording on my end, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Oh, I need my glasses. I don't want to wear them because they get like, it hurts my eyes sometimes. And
Me too. Me too.
oh, okay. We're good though.
Okay. Okay. Do you want me to start letting people in?
What time is it? Yeah.
5:57? Yep. Okay, cool.
Mhm. Welcome.
Hi, Annabelle.
Hello, welcome. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Just give it a couple minutes as people are logging on. How's everybody's day so far? How we all doing? Anybody wants to share a win, something good that happened to them, you know, maybe last week, this week? Please, let's open it up for a second as we let people in. Come on, someone on this call has had something good has had to have happened. Let's see here. All right. Well, I'll share a win. I'm a real estate broker agent representing, you know, clients, and showed property yesterday. And I don't know if anyone on this call is an agent, but market is insane. It's crazy. We went up against 5 other offers, and I just received a call today, right before I got on this call, that they accepted our offer. So very excited. Very excited. It's super competitive out there right now, and to actually get a call and say, yes, we've selected your client's offer is huge. So super excited. I have a client who was ready to throw the towel. We've probably submitted a handful of offers and just gets overbid by not a little, a lot. And we finally got, we're opening escrow, so that's a huge win. All right, well, let's get this let's get this call started. First of all, I don't know if, let me kind of go back here and let me delete this here. All right, so I'm actually filling in for Bill Gross, Jewish holiday today. And so he asked that I just kind of run this call today. And so I'm going to share with you guys something that I'm passionate about, that I'm actually in the trenches. I'm actually living it. I'm experiencing it right now, and it's multifamily investing. So I just want to share a little information about who I am. I am an investor. I'm a real estate broker. I've been in business for 24 years. And really my goal, I also have a call on Wednesdays. And the reason and the goal for me is to share with each one of you in detail the steps that I took to purchase my first multifamily deal, in hopes that you guys can also do the same thing. I'm not selling anything. I'm not offering anything anyone. I'm not a financial advisor in any way. I'm just sharing my story in hopes that, you know, what you guys can learn from it. And also, this platform is for all of us to share any information or just ask questions if maybe you're in the process and you're thinking of doing some investing and you're not sure. Well, you've come to the right place. This is where you want to ask those questions. I started my career in the mortgage industry in the mid-90s. I have purchased and I've just been involved in over 100 properties throughout my career. We rehabbed, fixed, flipped, I've managed, kept some of those properties for some time, and just, you know what, just was really involved. I also, in 2001, I deviated a bit from real estate, built a 150 capacity restaurant from ground up. We had a staff of about 15 people, included managers, servers, chefs, everyone, you know, that actually made the restaurant run successfully, and we just pretty much managed it. And the last 10 years, I have focused 100% on just representing clients in residential and commercial real estate. Now, in 2015, I purchased my first multifamily deal, which was 34 doors. And we did this in Texas. Obviously, I'm in California. Prices in California are very expensive. I wasn't in a position where I could go out and buy 34 doors here in California. So we decided to explore options out of state. We had a mentor who had already gone into Texas. And you know what? They say, why reinvent the wheel? Just follow. If someone's already doing it, just kind of followed. Obviously, you do your due diligence. And so we decided we'd go into Texas as well and started to study the market and the areas. And at that time, we were looking for a way to create cash flow and just generational wealth. And what better than multifamily? So we thought, how can we make our money work for us, right? And here are the reasons why I invested in multifamily property, and I hope that you guys do the same at one point. And so, number one, for me, it was cash flow. We were really looking for a way to just make our money work for us without us having to technically lift a finger. I mean, you still have to work multifamily, but at least you know that the income's coming in every month. And it's cash flow really is your rental income minus all of your expenses is your cash flow. Number two, it was an opportunity to have our tenants pay down our loan. And that's powerful, right? As you're collecting your monthly cash flow, you're also paying down your mortgage or your debt service. Number three, it was appreciation, right? We thought, all right, we're going to invest for cash flow right now. And we hope that with time and really over the long run, this property is going to appreciate. And I will share with you guys on my next slide what happened and how it appreciated for us. So it turned out to be a really great opportunity. And then number 4 were the tax benefits, right? There's other tax benefits, but for us, I think really the number one thing was just having depreciation where you can expense the physical structure each year on your taxes, and the opportunity to defer your capital gain on a 1031 exchange. And there is no limit to how many times you could do that. So, oops, let me go back. So here's an example. I'm just going to share with you guys an example of what happened to me and the property that I purchased. So when we were looking for property in Texas, you know, they always say to try to find something that has that value add component. And do all of you know on this call what the value add is on when you're looking for that on a property? Yes.
Increase in rent.
Right? An opportunity exactly to grow. So pretty much, oh my goodness, what happened here? So let me give you a quick example. And this is exactly what happened to me. So I'm going to share this with you guys. So we went out and we purchased in 2015, 34 doors for $850,000. And at that time, again, I'm coming from California, where appreciation in California is just like it's a given, right? We've got such a strong market, and the value increases in California very strong, and it's great. Well, in Texas back in 2015, it was a little different. It didn't have, I mean, it was definitely growing, but and I vividly remember when we made that decision to buy in Texas, we said, we're buying for cash flow. If it appreciates, wonderful, it's a bonus. But what our goal was at that time was just cash flow. Now, when we purchased this property, I found this on LoopNet, and I happened to call the agent, and the agent was the owner of this property. I'm a buyer, and I'm also a real estate agent. So it just worked out perfect because we were both able to work out a deal that made sense for, you know, each other. I had asked if he would be willing to carry a note or, you know, carry just a balance for us. And he agreed to it. He probably made more money from being a lender to us for 2 years than he did from what the building was actually giving him. So we gave him a $350 down. He carried a note for $500,000. This allowed us to remodel, update the units, and increase the rents, so that when we were like year 2, we were ready to refinance. And when we refinanced, the property had pretty much doubled in value by the time year 2 hit. So we were already at about $1.6 million. We refinanced. We were able to cash out our initial down payment, and really the money that we had already spent in remodeling the property, and then a little bit more. And we were at a 65% LTV. And really today, we have 0 of our money invested in this property. We got it all back year 2. And we've had the property now for about 6 years, and it's valued at about $2.7, $2.8 million. So right there, you know, this long-term appreciation was about 5-6 years, and which is really not that long-term. I mean, it's a pretty decent turnaround time, right, to have your property quadruple in value. And this right here is an example of that value add multifamily deal. So it worked out great. I mean, I'm extremely happy. It's been an incredible journey. I mean, we've learned a lot, and I'm not trying to make this sound like all glorious and beautiful, because it's not all that, you know, all that you see here. there's obviously a lot of work that goes behind the scenes that, no one really sees unless you're running the day-to-day operations of multifamily. But it's a great opportunity to create that generational wealth. It's a great opportunity to create that cash flow. And so it's worked out great so far for us. Let me show you guys. This is the building. So we have two buildings. This building that you're looking at is 24 doors, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And then this is the front, which is a 10 units, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. So it's townhome style. They have their little backyard in there, and obviously these rent for more than the 1 bedrooms. So let me, what I wanted to talk to you guys, oh my goodness, what's going on here? What I wanted to share with you guys today, first of all, I know I've kind of talked a lot. Any questions so far regarding what I've said, or any comments or anything that you guys would like to add?
Not really so much of a question, but what you did was refinanced the original seller. The seller was carrying your financing, Anna, and you found basically better long-term debt when you went to refinance it, like interest rate wise. That was your strategy, right?
Correct. So the first 2 years were really just interest only. I mean, it's easy, right? There's no qualifying other than you have the money, you want to buy it, sure, no problem. He didn't qualify me. He didn't ask me for anything. He just, he said, all right, you're going to give us $350 down payment. We'll finance the $500. You make, I don't remember if it was like $3,500 a month in payments. You have 2 years to do that. You refinance, pay us off, and we're good. And that's exactly what happened. And so it was really the cost of us acquiring the property was not that bad. I don't remember, the interest rate was maybe, gosh, I want to say maybe 7%, which is, I mean, it's really not bad when you're not having to go through the traditional bank, applying and going through all of that. Plus, I don't even think we would have been able to get a loan because it's based on the property's production, right? What the property's producing, and it was not producing. So he knew that it made sense for him. He definitely wanted to get rid of the property. We were looking to buy, and it just worked out, right? We were able to work a deal that made sense for both of us. And I think the message here is that sometimes you got to go outside the box, and you have no idea what that other person's going through. And once you guys start talking, you know what? Things just happen. So it worked out to, I think, both of our benefits. It wasn't a win-win just for me. I think it was a win for both. He made a couple bucks for 2 years, right? And then allowed us the opportunity to cash out and pay him out.
And the units were much more improved by the time you cashed him out too, so that it was really humming along at that point, cash flow wise.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, we came in and it was immediate. We just, like, 30-day notices. We were like ready to go, right? It was 30-day notices. Let's go. We were working in groups of like 5-6 units at a time, and just, had a team of people ready to start working on them. And again, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that also happened that you don't even account for when you buy multifamily. I mean, we closed escrow, and I'm not kidding, the next day, everything fell apart. We had the main sewer burst on the property. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember right now, but it was just like, that guy was holding up this. I mean, it's a joke here, but he was holding up the building with gum, because the minute we closed escrow, just everything fell apart. And there were things that fell apart that we didn't even have. The money was not even accounted for those things, because those are things that, I mean, you check, or you have an idea, that they're old and they need to get fixed, but you don't think it's going to happen right away, right? But it did. So you have to be prepared. And I think, my talk today is really about having a clearly defined goal of why you are looking to buy multifamily. I have a question for everyone on this call, just to kind of get an idea. How many of you can just raise your hand on this call own multifamily? I just kind of want to get an idea, you know, who I'm talking to and okay. Okay.
They currently own or own, period.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear someone say something. Okay, so we have a few. So, okay, very good. So when looking to invest in multifamily property, I think you've got to ask yourself these questions, right? Like, what do you want to do? What is the outcome that you want? I mean, I think that if you have a clear picture of these things, these wants, it's going to make it much easier for you to go out there and find that property. So you ask yourself, you know, do you want a yield? Do you want monthly cash flow? Are you looking for appreciation? Are you looking for long-term? Are you fine? I mean, this is important stuff. Are you fine with investing your money and leaving it there for 10 to 15 years? Or do you want more of short-term, 3 to 5 years? You guys have to be really, really clear about what you want, right? Are you looking for cash flow? Are you looking for appreciation? Are you looking for a safe place and growth over time? I mean, I get that, you know, we all want them all because I was there and I wanted all of that, right? But I think in order to be ready to go out and look for multifamily property, it's very important that you narrow it down to, like, you know, are you okay waiting 3 to 5 years? Or are you looking at it for, you know, longer, like 10, 15 years? Because these, you know, if it's a 3 to 5 year term, that's a totally different investment that you're going to want to look to even get yourself involved in versus a 10 to 15 year investment deal or opportunity. You know, what's your current lifestyle look like, right? So if you go out and you buy a multifamily property, right? Will this property, you've got to write it all down. Like, okay, you obviously want to continue to live the way that you're living, right? So you need to figure out how much is that going to cost so that you can figure out what's the cash flow that you're looking for. Are you married? Are you single? This is huge, right? Do you have kids? Are you retiring? Someone that's married or someone that's single will have very different goals. If you have kids, very different. If you're retiring, you may not want to do some, you know, who knows, you may want a long-term or you may just want a short-term. So you've got to ask yourself, you got to ask yourself these questions, you know, and what are the things that you want to do in the next maybe 12, 24, 36 months? Okay, so I think that if you answer these questions, it's going to really help define the kind of property that you guys are looking for. I mean, you really, I think it all begins, we all hear, or, you know, we're always attending or learning about multifamily property, but the reality is how many of you actually go out and do it, right? And I think that it all starts with like just having you take an inventory of yourself, of your life, of just everything, right? Like just turn everything off, go to your happy place, or just go to a place where you know that you can just sit and just think about what your goals are and what you want. And it's really key that you just like you define that. It's going to make this process so much easier, and it's going to help you determine what that right multifamily property or investment deal. I mean, it could be, 1 to 4 units. It could be 10, 15 doors. It could be 34. It could be 100 doors. Everyone on this call is in a different place. So I think it's, taking that time to really determine, okay, why am I going to invest in multifamily and what's going to work for me? What's that goal? Any questions so far or any comments? Anything anyone wants to add in here? Okay. All right. So I think that when you aim small, you miss small. Okay. So I'm just recommending, okay, that the more detailed you are and the more precise that you are in hitting that mark and you will be in obtaining that property that you want. And I have to tell you guys that I have talked to many people in the multifamily world, and it just boils down to everyone has different goals. I can't do what someone else does because I may not be financially at the same level that that other person is. And so I have to do what works for me. And you know what? We learn from all the other people. I mean, my goal is to double up, right? I'm at 34. I would love 70 to 100 doors. I mean, I know people that have 500 doors, 1,000 doors. I can't do what they're doing, but you know what? I learn from them and I see what they're doing, but I have to figure out what works for me, for my goals, right? With financially, for whatever it is. And then I move the direction that works for me. And so I'm just sharing this with you guys because I think this is very important. And I think that it'll just make it that much easier. Anyone on this call in the process of purchasing a multifamily or any kind of investment property that you'd be willing to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, my group's trying to buy a 23. We're trying to buy a 23 unit in Chicago right now.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Only
Trying.
Chicago?
Yeah.
Only
Don't have it
Chicago?
under contract yet.
But are you staying in Chicago or are you open to other areas?
Oh, we're open to other. Yeah, no, totally open to other areas. But this was just a really great lead because it was a referral and very motivated seller. So.
Awesome. Well, if you're interested, I am selling my 34 doors.
In Chicago or in Dallas?
I'm in Dallas.
Okay.
So if anyone's interested, I mean, I could definitely share some more info on that, but I don't want to take this call to do that. But oh, that's great. I mean, that's really good, Paul, that you're growing, because I know you have how many right now?
We have so we've done 3 deals in Chicago. Yep.
Nice.
So we've closed on 3 buildings, and I don't remember the number of doors, but so far, yeah, and one of the units had a single family house in the backyard. So it's kind of this really interesting twist where one of the properties had a 2-story single family that also had a garden unit. So we converted the basement into a workable unit as well, rentable unit. So the single family house in the back will be its own kind of entity.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's great. No, that's wonderful. I love it. I'm reading here, Nick, you asked for me to discuss how the owner carry and refi cash out process. So,
find out like more specifically how that worked for you, particularly because you said that you only had at a certain point, I guess now, no money in the deal, you basically finance the whole thing, and I guess it's still cash flowing. So maybe you could go into that a little bit more. And
Yeah.
also the question that you just asked about people in the process of buying additional. I have a 4-unit building in Los Angeles that I vacated 2 of the units. And so I'm considering selling that property now because it's in a transit-oriented community and available for development. So I'm considering selling that property and actually exchanging the cash into another property, maybe out of state, or if I'm not able to find the joint venture to do the actual development. So it's I'm kind of looking at it from both of those things. And the cash, the owner carry option is something that might even give me more leverage to use the money should I decide to sell it outright, to use more of the money to buy additional property.
Right. Okay. No, I think that's a great question. So for me, I bought it for 850. It needed a lot of work. So it was not worth, well, okay, it was worth 850. I knew based on just my experience of, being involved in real estate and fixing and flipping, you get an idea, right? A sense of, all right, so if I fix this up, I can definitely increase the rents, and it's definitely going to increase the value of my property. So we knew based on when we purchased the condition that it was in, it was going to be a lot harder for me to go out and get a loan, because when you're buying multifamily, it's really based on the performance of that property. And that property was not performing at that time. So when we asked for the seller finance, he was making a lot more money just financing it to us. So how it worked is he did have a loan, but his loan was a lower amount. I mean, it was a smaller amount. And what we agreed on is at a 7% interest rate, I would be paying the $500,000 that he was lending me, because I only gave him $350 as a down payment, and then he kept a $500,000 note. Basically. So we made payments. Year 2, based on all the improvements I had done to the property, and I increased. Now, mind you, I did not waste time. We closed escrow, and it was like, that's it. Everybody that we can give a 30-day notice to, we gave a 30-day notice, because we really were working on time. Like, we needed to take advantage of every minute to vacate as many people as we could to get in there and start improving the property. And at that time, as you're improving, we went from $400 a month rent to $600, right? That's $200 month. You multiply that, that's $2,400, right? A year. So if you do that on one, and we've remodeled maybe like 75-80% of the property. You just have to go in there with a plan, right? Financial, you have to have the money to be ready to do these improvements fast. And so you go ahead, you do those improvements. And as you are, we have 2 years, right? So we want a full year to show the bank that, hey, these properties are now are renting at a much higher rent. And so they're going to take that into consideration. And it just put us in a really good position. By year 2, our property had doubled in value. So all those improvements and everything that we did to the property, it doubled the value of our property.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Let me ask a quick follow-up. So you agreed to buy it for the $850. You gave him a $350 down payment, and you took out a loan for $500. So he was made whole. He was able to pay off his existing mortgage, and you actually were the owner of the property at that time, right? And you had a $500,000 mortgage.
Yes.
Right. And then you had money to actually, and then you had a second how much was your second with the owner? How much was he carrying?
I didn't have a second. The loan was directly with the owner. So what he did, he didn't even have to go out and take out a loan. He had an existing loan with a bank They went and they spoke to the bank, and we did kind of like a wraparound loan to that existing loan that he had. So I made payments to him. He paid the mortgage or the lender, whatever his balance was at that time. And then the difference that we would give him was his income. That's what he was making. So he didn't have to go out and get another loan.
I guess I'm still not following how the lending part worked, because he had an existing loan. Who took out the wraparound loan?
He basically contacted his lender, and the lender allowed him to basically be he told them, I'm selling the property to these people. They are now going to be making the payment, but I'm keeping the same loan. So I was protected. He was protected. I had the attorneys figure it all out. I mean, I don't know the logistics of it, but all I can tell you is that he did not have to go out and get another loan. He kept his 16 loan. He did whatever, the attorneys did whatever they needed to do in order for me to make that payment to him. I was making the payment, not to the lender. I was making the payment to the owner of the property for 2 years. And it was at a 7% interest rate. And by the time I was ready to refinance, we just basically we paid him off and we kept our loan. And that's where we were able to get $1 million loan. So we paid him the $500,000 that we owed him. Plus I got another $500,000 back to me, because it was about $350 down that I gave him, and another, $150, $200. We got a total of $1 million. And the property was worth $1.6 million.
I see. And so if you, yeah, thank you. I'll take it. And so if you were to default on that loan, he would have taken the property back. And if he defaulted on his payments, was there a recourse for you?
You know what? There had to have been. I don't know that. I just made sure that there was never any issue. There was too much money at stake for us to fall behind, and for him also to do something. The attorneys put all this together. I'm sure we were all protected. And I don't know. That's a great question, but I have no clue. I made payments on time, and I made sure to refi out in 2 years. I didn't even want to extend because of that. I just wanted things to be in my name, the normal way, and move on. But just it really was just an opening, an opportunity for me to get in to this property without going through the loan applying process. And if you guys have never done one of the multifamilies, it's not easy. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of documentation, and a lot of stuff you've got to provide in order to get a loan.
I guess it would have been much easier if he had owned the property free and clear, and then he could just basically lend you the money. But because he had a loan, it was a lot more complicated. At least, it was less complicated than getting an original loan, but still more complicated than just him lending you the $500.
Correct. But think about it. He was still able to make money on money that wasn't his, right? Because he still owed the bank that money. So he made an extra. He charged us interest only, and I want to say it was about 7%. So 7%, that's not a bad deal. So
Thanks so much.
I hope that answers. I wish I would have, I don't know. At that time, I really didn't know. I was just, how do we make this happen? Right? What's the easiest way for me to get into this property with the least amount of money and the least amount of work, and then we'll figure things out. And that's really how it was. This was my first deal. Any other questions or any other comments? All right, let me read. I know there's a couple questions on the chat. Goodwin says, please send details on your multifamily. Sure, I'll send that. I'm also in LA at the moment and can help go through owner carry numbers with you. Oh, okay, there you go. Usually there's a shared online access to the lender's website, confirm payments have been made, correct. Yeah, and yes, you're right. I think we did have access to the lender, and we would talk and we would confirm and we would monitor, and it was, Goodwin, I mean, maybe you could chime in and share a little bit, because I definitely, that's not my thing.
Just out of curiosity, how much did you set aside for renovations? Was it like 2,000 per unit, 4,000 per unit to 40 per, like, sounds like 40% increase in rent.
Yeah, we had about, I think it was, let me multiply. I think we did about 5,000 per door. So 34 times 5,000, about 107. Yeah, we had about 200,000, 2 to 250 extra there for any kind of, probably had a little more than that, but I'd say about 5,000 per door. I mean, this property needed like total rehab. We went in there and gutted the place. So 5,000 was a pretty reasonable price for like new flooring, new kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets, you know, the walls, the lighting, electrical, coils, the air conditioning coils. What else? I mean, we did a lot. We really did a lot to be able to increase rents. I mean, we've gone up from, we were getting rents at 400, 450, 600. We're now way above high six to over $1,000 a door. So there was definitely a lot of room for us to improve and, you know, increase the value of the property. So discuss your due diligence process that helps to purchase in a landlord-friendly area, relocating tenants. Discuss your due diligence process. It helps to purchase in a landlord. I agree.
How did you actually decide that what the condition of the property was in before you purchased? Did you go there? Did you look at other comps? Like, discuss how you decided whether this was a deal worth making.
Absolutely. So yes, well, we studied the market. So I knew when we looked at this particular property, we had seen other apartment complexes in the nearby general area. And we actually, I mean, we went in and we asked to see a unit, like we were interested in renting an apartment, because you want to become familiar, you want to study the market, right? And you want to know what your competition is doing. And we would get brochures, we would take a look at, okay, what's a 1-bedroom going for? What's a studio going for? What's a 2-bedroom going for? What's included? You know, is it all bills paid, or do people pay their own bill, like utilities? So it was just, it was really studying the other apartments in the nearby area and making sure that I knew where those were at, so that when I got into mine, I knew what I was going to have to do to mine. And pretty much the due diligence process for us was, we didn't have an inspector. My husband's a general contractor. We had a couple of people that we knew out in the area that were familiar with like plumbing, were familiar with, you know, like looking at the big stuff, right? Like the chiller, looking at the roof, looking at plumbing and just certain stuff. And so we had everyone come out and take a look at it and kind of give us their opinion. And that was it. We knew the property needed a lot of work and we were ready for it. We knew that also the rents were way below market. So there was enough room to take the risk, if that makes any sense. It's a calculated, you know, educated decision. There was enough room for us to go ahead and do this. And as I mentioned, this being my first property, we closed escrow, and I mean, that's when it just like, excuse my word, but the shit hit the fan, because everything started falling apart. Like, how can this be, right? We're in escrow and everything's perfectly fine, and we close escrow, and you know, this breaks and this burst, and I mean, it was crazy, but thank God we were financially prepared. We had enough reserves. We knew what we were up against, and we were ready to take action. So, I mean, one thing I will share with you guys, and I think that this was just huge for me. Don't try buying multifamily and trying to do the work with the cash flow, because it's not going to work out. That's just, I mean, it's too risky. You have to have reserves for, you know, whatever repairs, and for repairs that you can't even imagine that are going to happen, because they will happen. And we just, you know, we had enough of the reserves, and we just started working immediately. We didn't waste any time. I hope that answered your question.
It does. You were doing the work yourself, or did you find contractors to work with? Because oftentimes that's what people find is a big problem when you're working in an area that you're not familiar with, finding good people to do the work if you're not doing it yourself.
Right. So my husband's a general contractor, and it really, really helped, because he has an idea of, you know, the cost of things. We're not completely oblivious, because yes, you're right, there's a lot of contractors, and in Texas, you don't even have to be a licensed contractor. You know, as long as you know how to do the stuff, you're good. So it was it was managed. We had sourced out like specific individuals for certain labors, right? So we hired someone that did just the kitchen cabinets, or all the cabinets, bathroom and kitchen cabinets. That's their expertise. That's what they're good at. That's what they're going to do fast. Okay, you're doing the cabinets. We hired someone to do the flooring. We had a company that come in and do the flooring. We had someone to do just painting. So we just subcontracted, right, for all those things. And my husband was pretty much he overlooked. And I will tell you, once we transitioned and we took over the property, I was probably out there for 2 weeks. My husband was out there for maybe a month to make sure he coordinated things. And then we'd visit every 2-3 months for the first year while we were going through this massive renovation of the property. And once it was all complete, I think we go out twice a year. My husband does talk to the on-site manager, and on a weekly basis, and things are running perfectly fine. So we're in a really good spot. Let's see here. There's a couple more. Roslyn, sure. We can talk. And let's see here. Goodwin, passive investment members. Perfect. All right, cool. Any other questions? I think I still have a couple more stuff here on my presentation that I didn't finish. Let's see here. Oops. All right. So got a couple more minutes. Let me share this with you guys. I hope this helps as well. Location is everything. I mean, you guys have to really understand where you're going to buy. And this is something, oops. What the heck? Did I lose everyone?
No, we're here. I can't see you for some reason. I can see your shared screen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I can see your shared screen.
I don't know what happened. I got a call and now I don't know how to
I
get,
can see you now. You're fine, Annabelle.
but I can't see anybody.
Change your gallery view up in the upper right-hand corner.
Where? Oh
It should be in the upper right. It should say view.
This is the weirdest thing. I just transferred over to Apple and I don't know how to use this Apple stuff very well.
Annabelle, do you have a screen share at the very bottom in the very center of your screen?
Yes.
You're sharing right now? Why don't you just stop sharing and see if it comes back?
Oh, thank you. It did. Awesome. Let me,
Okay, good.
Thank you. That was an
Sure.
easy. All right, can you, no, now I'm back at this. What the heck? Oh my gosh.
Don't worry about it, Annabelle. We're all here. We can see you. You're all good.
Okay, so let me go back to my,
Also, hi everyone, it's Jess. I'm Bill's assistant and Annabelle's assistant. Some of you have seen me filling in on some other calls. And so if you're wondering why Bill's icon was here, but Bill wasn't here, it's because I had to log in on his Zoom account today. So hi everyone, to everyone I know. If I don't know
Hi,
Hi,
you,
Jess.
Jess. Thank you.
okay, Jess, now I don't even know how to get out of wherever I'm at. So,
click the green screen share button again. There you go. Okay,
Okay, now we
Alright.
can see everybody.
now you can see us, right, Annabelle?
all right. Well, okay. Well, you know, we only have a few more minutes. Any other questions, guys? Anything that I can share, like my personal experience with you guys? I'm open, you know, anything, just go ahead and ask, because I think I'm done with really my presentation. It was just getting you guys to really, you know, like pinpoint what's important. What is it that you guys are looking for? What do you guys want? And I think that once you decide on those things, then it makes it that much easier to go out and find that kind of property.
I have a
Yes,
question, Annabelle.
yes.
I apologize if I missed it. I got a call from an owner just a moment ago, but did you explain why you're wanting to sell your units, your multifamily that you did
Yeah, well, I'm looking to double up. So
double up?
I want, you know, I probably could get between 60 and 80 doors. And I think, you know, I'm trying to capitalize on the craziness of the market, because if you guys know, real estate is crazy right now. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to try to get myself into something, try to find again, another value add. I may not find the same, you know, value add property that I did here, but there's always property out there where you can do some improvements and increase, you know, the income, the monthly income, and which ultimately increases the value of the property. So that is my goal. So if anyone on this call is, and I'm not, it doesn't have to be Texas. I'm open to any areas as long as it's, you know, it makes financial sense. But yeah, I'm looking for 60 to 80 doors.
I have a realtor that specializes in multifamily, but I think that they're only going to be based in LA and Las Vegas at this time. And I kind of actually just mentioned to him recently, I'm like, my investors are not going to look for COVID inflated prices. It has to make sense for the return on the investment. So I kind of set that expectation, because I said this group is a great forum for him to like pitch deals. So if anybody's interested, I can put my contact information and share that with everybody, so you can get in touch with, you know, people. That's just what my job is to create relationships with people, you know, that are in the industry. So
Perfect. Yeah, I'd love it. I have a call on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. It's, you know, it's exactly about multifamily and how to get your first multifamily deal. But I think really the platform is there to just connect with people. And I will actually have my agent, he's from Marcus and Millchap out in the Dallas area. He works 75 doors and under. So he's, you know, he's not doing the 100 plus, he's doing 75 below doors. If you guys are interested in joining, it's tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's this, I think you put 8.
Oops, I put 8. That's supposed to be 2. Oops.
Okay, so it's tomorrow at 2 p.m. The link is on the chat. Feel free to join in, and he'll be sharing a lot of information and deals, opportunities that he has, because it's, if you guys know, Marcus and Millchap is a very big commercial multifamily, and that's specifically what he does. So he'll be on the call tomorrow. Feel free to join in. And if you guys don't have any other questions, it's been a pleasure of filling in for Bill. And I usually also join this call. I love it. I think it's interesting and great information. But I'm here to assist anyone, or we can connect. Jess, can you copy the chat and send that to me so that I can connect with some of the people here?
Yeah, sure.
Any messages, that'd be great. And yeah, if anyone doesn't have any other questions, then we'll say goodbye. Any other questions, or are we good?
We're
Thank you,
good.
everybody,
I'm
for
good.
being a
Thanks,
part of this.
Annabelle.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you
Take
very much,
care.
Annabelle.
Thank you. Take care. I'll connect with those that left me a message.